BIDSTITCH gang, we are with the man, the myth, the infamous legend, the one that you guys have all been asking to hear from, Jeff Ross. Jeff, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for making time. We had to fly all the way out to Tokyo just to get 5 minutes of your time. But the time that we are sharing together is incredible. Some of the most valuable time of my life. This is fucking incredible. We're around gems that were created at your hands.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah.
I'm the new motto is I'm the old guy. I got to see all the cool bands. I probably made t-shirts for those cool bands, and some of those cool bands still owe me fucking money.
Cut this man a check. Okay. I'm gonna say something because I got a little bit of drink in me, so I'm gonna be on my thing today. Now, a lot of people know bands like Nirvana or Tad or Mudhoney, but not, and maybe t-shirt guys know you, but not that many people in the general public know Jeff Ross, the artist behind some of the most iconic designs for the most iconic bands. Now, tell me, how does that feel?
It's kind of weird. It's just like doing this all back then. I mean, I started in '86 for The Fluid from Denver. They put out their own record. They were going on tour. I was like, well, I'll print t-shirts. So I went to an art store in North Hollywood, bought a book, how to screen print, make a screen, print t-shirts, go on tour. And that's kind of where it started. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to starve.
So let me ask you this. Were you a fan of the bands that you were doing artwork for? Was it initially like a fan type of situation?
I just knew, our punk rock bands all played together.
Oh, okay.
So The Fluid became a real band and put out a record, an album. And it's just like, well, I got nothing to do. I got laid off from my gig working for a racing team in Orange County. I'll print t-shirts and I'll go on tour.
Sounds like fun.
6 weeks, peanut butter and jelly, maybe a slice of pizza. Oh, it was brutal. It was brutal.
But you loved it?
Oh, but it was great, though. It's what you did.
Yeah.
And I was just actually talking to somebody today that booked the show in Louisville, Kentucky in 1986. We're still friends.
Wow.
So I did the stuff for The Fluid, and then I printed some t-shirts for Motorcycle Boy in LA. Okay. Back in the hair days. And New Improved God there. The Mickey on the cross.
The Mickey one.
I printed that. I didn't draw that. I printed that. Fuck. So actually, there's one in my house.
You forgot that one.
I didn't think about it.
Oh.
So I'm in LA then, and The Fluid introduced me to Mudhoney and Blood Circus, because Sub Pop, Glitter House Records traded Mudhoney and The Fluid. And so Blood Circus had a Denver guy in the band. And then all those bands came down and would stay in my little one-bedroom apartment. And I started printing t-shirts. Then the Flaming Lips, too, back then.
So when it came to you doing some of the work for these bands, now I know you printed. Did you also do some of the artwork as well?
The first Mudhoney shirt with the wrestler on it?
Yeah.
We call him the Barker.
Yeah.
Postcard we found in a store in Hollywood. And this is the Barker. I was like, okay, I'll make a shirt. So I blew it, and I blew it up on a copier, and then I had wet media acetate or pictographs in India ink, and I hand drew it on the acetate. So the first one of those is this big. I've got the screen coming. I still have the original screen, but then the next one I made it smaller, and then that was the first Mudhoney shirt. I did 3 versions, multiple color fills, So that got me into Sub Pop. So I started printing for Tad and Love Battery, and trying to remember. Then I started doing posters, because no one was screen printing posters, and I was like, I'm going to do it. And those posters.
Did you know that what you were doing was incredibly special? Like, did you realize how the magnitude of the moment when you were living it?
I was just printing. I mean, I printed this Nirvana poster. First it was a poster, 2-color poster. I printed them, sold them to Sub Pop for $1 each.
This is you're breaking my heart.
But that's 1990, you know.
So you obviously did it feel like you were in something special, or was it just like, this is work? Because I don't know.
I mean, I was in LA for the Hair Days, you know, so I saw that music scene explode.
Mm-hmm.
But I went up to Seattle with the Fluid, and in LA, everybody's watching bands and they're fixing their hair and touching up their eyeliner. And I go to Seattle, and the crowd is this mass of humanity just
fuck yeah,
writhing all over. And I'm just like, oh, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
Because this is cool and just lucky. I mean, I was pretty damn lucky, you know, being there and getting deep into the Seattle. I mean, I was playing music, but I realized I was making zero money playing music. I can make money printing t-shirts.
Yeah.
So I came in from LA all hot and frisky, you know, and let's go. I had long hair.
I need to see those photos.
I didn't have this.
Jeff, you forgot to bring those photos.
Yeah.
Next time bring them.
And so I was working for the bands, but then Jim Sorensen he's the master of the Seattle.
Shout out Jim Sorensen. Still a very active member of the community, right?
He's way outside of Aberdeen now.
Yeah.
He's had some health issues and stuff, and so, but I mean, he was the guy. I was the young rascal coming in, and then we were the two people that printed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, people thought we hated each other. This is like, we ain't got time to hate each other. You know, and it worked out where I was doing Sub Pop, Nirvana, Mudhoney. He was doing Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Screaming Trees. And it was just a natural split.
Sure.
And then,
but there was no rivalry.
No rivalry. And then when I bought an automatic press, I would print Nirvana during the day with my crew. And then he would come in at night, me and him and one guy, and print Pearl Jam. Gnarly. On my machine. And he just paid me $100 an hour. And then actually I paid off my mom's credit cards with Pearl Jam money. You know? But those were the days when we would print and box the shit up and go to the airport. Put shit on an airplane.
Wow.
The band's out. We need stuff in Chicago tomorrow. Fuck. Okay, let's. And so we were helping each other out constantly, you know. So
is there a craftsmanship that you think has been lost in modern day t-shirt or just merchandise for bands that over years has maybe lost?
I mean,
its
what I did was this level. The stuff Jim Sorensen did was this level.
Sure,
that guy was a magician.
Sure.
He was amazing with hand-cutting ruby lead, hand-cutting lettering, using zipatones. I mean, he was the guy. He was the master. I was the young, little scrappy dude.
But today, when you see current bands with their merch...
I don't really even look at stuff today.
Really?
You know? I mean, for years, it's like, I walk by and I would look at somebody's shirt, and I could see it was out of register. Just like, dude, that's out of register. You know, or a certain band's shirt that I printed first, then it got taken away, and it's never been printed as good.
Yeah,
ever.
You could tell there's been
and
quality.
they were just like, we can't get it to print right. And it's like, I gave you films, I gave you screen counts, I gave you ink. Oh, and by the way, fuck you. You know, so I mean, but the screen printing world back then was pretty vicious. You know, I mean, when all these other printers popped up, I would have a band leave because that person would print it for 10 cents cheaper.
Really?
Then they'd fuck them up and the band would come back. And I go, well, that's going to cost you 25 cents more. And I was actually thinking the other day, there was only one band that never, ever, ever went somewhere else. And that was Seaweed. So, they started with me. They never left me until I quit.
You left them.
One other band left me one time early. And I'm like, I'll fix it, but never go away. And they never did.
You want to say who it was?
That was the Gits. The Gits.
Fair.
I mean, they had some friends, I'll print your European shirts for you. And 2 days before they were flying out, Steve, the drummer, can you do our shirts? I'm like, man, I can get it done, but don't ever go anywhere else. And they never did, ever.
Respect.
Through all of that nightmare that band dealt with Mia getting killed and all that Steve never had anybody else print until I quit. When I shut everything down, that's it.
What bands did you have the closest relationship with when it came to sort of the merchandising process? Was there any band that you worked really closely with, or they had like some type of, there was an aesthetic that they really wanted to ensure?
I mean, I cut my teeth with the Fluid. I did a lot of experimenting with them.
And the Fluid's old merch is fucking incredible.
I mean, I still have the first screens I made for them.
Wow.
I don't know if they'll work, but I got them. But I mean, those guys were the ones that I cut my teeth with. Ideas, let's do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this and wing it. And then everybody else, it just kind of flowered from there.
Any shirts in particular that were more difficult than others to get right when printing? Anyone where it's like, fuck, it's always this one?
Not band stuff. No.
Fair.
No, because once I got the machine, the auto, I can do process printing.
Yeah.
But I tried to avoid it, but I can do it.
Yeah.
But I had employees, so I had to take on anything and everything. So when I was getting bored with the rock and roll stuff, I tiptoed into the snowboard world.
Yeah.
And so I went deep in that.
What do you have to say to current vintage resellers, our BIDSTITCH audience basically, that have pushed the price of your old artwork really to astronomical heights? Like, what do you think about that? When you
give me a percentage, just bro me back a percentage. I mean, come on.
We're looking at you guys.
Royalties.
Cut the man his check. That's all he's asking for. A little bit of royalties. At the very least, if you're not going to cut this man a check, give him his roses. Give him his credit. Yeah. Jeff really is the originator and the visionary behind some of your favorite merchandise that you've seen out there. But Jeff, let me ask you this. You've got to be surprised seeing just how highly valued and highly sought after some of these items are.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
It's got to feel good, though.
I don't get it. Well, yeah, it's, yay, cool. I mean, but yeah, the dollar amount put on it is like, I can't fathom it.
It's insane.
I mean, these shirts cost $5.
Yeah.
When I printed them, so I was making $2 for shirts were $3. We're about to print. Done, out the door.
Jeff, it's funny you say this. I've thought about it a little bit, but I haven't really harped on it. Like, I'm thinking about an artwork, right? An artwork is made, the original artwork sells for X amount of dollars, and there's still prints of that artwork that's still sold where royalties are given to the artist.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about the relationship between an artist and his work.
Right.
And I kind of want you to talk about that a little bit.
I mean,
like, you're an artist,
yeah,
but you're not monetarily treated as such.
Right. Well, I mean, it's just sort of like, well, you buy a painting or a drawing from me, you own it.
Yeah.
If you want to go do something with it, I don't got any recourse. Not that, it's like, yeah, I mean, that whole argument is like, well, if somebody resells a painting they bought from me, I should get a percentage. Just because, but no one's going to do that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, I just got to pay my rent. That's pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
pay my rent and try to sell stuff. But people also, I mean, what irks me the most is people will haggle with an artist. They won't haggle at McDonald's. They won't haggle at the gas station. But they'll haggle with an artist. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that irks me. And people will, I get messages all the time. Hey, how many of these and what did I go? I don't know. And if I give you an answer, doesn't that buff your price a little bit? It's just like, send me $10 for a yes or no.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's all, and I'm so far out of the mix. Like this, the vintage t-shirt world has brought me to Japan.
In what sense?
My Legend of Vintage.
Yeah.
Like, I want you here. And my other friends bought a bunch of stuff to help me pay for a trip. And, but I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know. Just kind of throw prices out. But it's like, and then, I've asked some people and it's crickets. Just like, that's the irky part.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it's the way of the world. I mean, I can be all hippie about it. It's like, dude, it's just the way it is. But then I can be grumpy old poster guy about it. Dude, fuck off.
Okay.
It's just, where's the middle?
Yeah.
Where's the middle ground? I'm just like, all the stuff that I've collected for 40 years, I call it my punk rock IRA. It's time to sell stuff.
Yeah.
So I can live the rest of my life. It's just like, it's just sort of, and then that whole thing is like, what's it worth? Well, if I give you a number and you say yes, cool. But I don't know. There's a big fog.
Yeah.
I don't know the world. It's just like, I'll go into my friend's shops and I literally can see like how good is your bin eye? I can look, mine. Mine. It's like, how'd you get that? How did that get here? And stuff. But I mean, friends are going, hey, I just found a couple things, So.
Is it cool knowing that your work has opened the eyes of a new young generation when it comes to their music interests? I don't know if you realize that or not, but
I mean, I would think that it's the bands did it, not me.
I'm gonna have to push back on you a little bit here, because a lot of folks would say that, oh, I saw the shirt, it was fucking sick, and I wanted to kind of get into the band after I saw how cool their merch was.
Huh, okay, all right.
And it's true much more than...
Is that like more of a modern thing?
I think so.
Not modern, not that the 90s weren't modern.
Yeah.
But I mean...
I think that sort of that sort of way of thinking has sort of stemmed from the thrifting sort of movement, right? Like a lot of young kids going to the bins,
right,
going to their local thrift, seeing a cool shirt, seeing a band tee in a lot of cases, and being like, I kind of want to know a little bit more about it. And it's kind of interesting to me that you actually don't like, you think, oh, it's just the band. A lot of these guys, the shirt is the anchor.
I mean, it's like, what did I printed for what? I didn't do all the designing, but I printed for probably 500 bands.
Yeah.
You
had a hand in it.
The pieces I would put together, some stuff was from scratch, but others like, give me parts.
Yeah.
Give me a part and I'll do what I do.
Yeah.
Like,
which is create.
This shirt gave me a part. Then I put it together.
Well, how about you? Can we speak about that for a sec? Would you mind holding it up?
Yeah.
Now, you said they gave you a part.
They gave me a part.
Who's the they that we're talking
about? I'm in my loft where I was living and printing, and doorbell rings. Comes up. It's Kurt. and Chad from Nirvana. That Nirvana band. that
Never heard of
that little trio. And Kurt had the album, the John and Yoko album. It was just like, I want to do something with this. And we're just like, well, a couple minutes, kind of go, let's put Jonathan and Bruce's faces on them, the owners of Sub Pop.
Why did they do that? I know that we're getting a little bit into the weeds here, but was it, I've heard some people say it was a slight against.
No, I was just like, let's put their faces on this.
Just
That's what I did. That's what I said.
So it was you? Okay.
It was me. You know, and they're just like, oh, cool, let's do that. And then I'm looking for photos, and we did my magic film guy with negatives and stat cameras, no computers. It was Xerox machines, whiteout, tape, X-Acto knives, or photographs. And then my film guy, who had a shop below me in my loft, he had a business downstairs, that he would take the photograph, put it in a stat camera, and hit it with a halftone screen. So no one will have any idea what this is. But I go, I want this picture. I want it this size at this DPI. And he would calculate, he would shoot a negative, and then he would blow up the positive and shoot the film.
This dude's a stud, by the way.
I mean, that's, aside from using Rubylith and hand cutting and zipatones for this was modern then. Stat camera. Look it up. Google probably won't even know what the hell a stat camera was. So we did it, put it together, and then I had done the back of the cover, but I didn't have a picture that was the right angle. So I never used it. It's horrid. I have it still. But so then we're like, what do we do for the back? And then in my loft, Charles Peterson, the photographer, was my roommate. And he did a photo shoot for Nirvana, and we had a big paper backdrop. And Kurt grabbed the spray can and did the plus minus that you see in the promo photo, the Sub Pop promo photo. And so I'm like, well, let's just put plus minus on it. And I just cut it out of Rubylith, all clean. And
this shirt in particular, this one individually is special as well because there's a tag on it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone's ever seen.
All my early shirts are water-based.
Can we hold it up, Jeff?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
So I would have to put a hang tag in for washing instructions, where if you put a brown paper grocery bag, no one knows what those are anymore, over it and iron it, it would heat set the ink so it wouldn't fade as quick. So that's what the hang tag washing instructions are. And the first runs of these I did for the band only have the plus minus. That's it.
Huge.
This is the first edition version of the John and Yoko.
And that's big. Jeff's not really, Jeff, okay. That's huge because a lot of folks, the current belief is that the Sub Pop logo indicates earlier than without the Sub Pop, or that without the Sub Pop, it's
the Sub Pop logo was put in for the shirts for Sub Pop. So the original ones for the band. Then we did them for Sub Pop, and we dropped the Sub Pop logo on them. So this is the second version. So
this interview's single-handedly going to inflate the price of everyone's shirts that they once thought were some type of unofficial print. No, those are actually the earlier version.
So unofficial. It's a fucking weird word.
I don't know. I'm trying my best, dude.
In this new world, this new vintage world, I don't. They're talking about the sleeve stitching, this and this, and they have to measure the fucking shirts and this. It's just sort of like back then, shirts were huge, and they got bigger as the '90s went via the snowboard industry because the shirts were gigantic.
Yeah.
And then everything started shrinking again. the sizes started coming down.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go where I want to go on that one. So,
dang, give Jeff
this is about
get Jeff another drink.
This is about me, not about some industry person who pissed me off. So then like the next example, is the Nirvana this shirt here.
Incredibly rare. A handful of these I've seen.
This originally was the Nirvana tour poster because it had Sub Pop live at and then a blank space on the bottom. So,
why was it such a limited distribution for this one? You don't see this one and the blue that often.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the poster was an orangey chrome yellow the first run. Then I turned it to processed yellow. The t-shirts we did processed yellow, and I pulled the Sub Pop live ad off. So, like this one, putting the poster together, it's like I had the idea. I like the blank spot because all my posters from the 70s had appearing at, and it had a space to write the gig in. I'm like, bingo, so that became their Sub Pop live at posters. So there was a gap to write the thing in. So, but to put the poster together, I just went, hey, Charles, aka Charles Peterson. I go,
Charles Peterson, still very, he's a renowned photographer.
Yeah. Anytime I did shirts for Sub Pop, if I needed photos, I got free reign to go through Charles's pictures. I want that one. Print me one, and then I did the halftone stuff, and everything. So, but this was Charles Peterson photo. The background photo was a photo Kurt took of his broken guitars and amps and stuff, and I cut it in half and split it.
I don't know if I ever noticed that.
Guitar.
Yeah.
The early prints of the poster really muddy because I used the 12XX screen. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then the next one I did a higher mesh screen, and I was able to hold the dots. I kept getting better, as I went. So we did batches of the yellow, and then we did the blue and black. A few. Honestly, I don't know. I would say maybe if I had to take a stab, there were 200 of these. Yeah,
I've seen the yellow a little bit more.
200. The blue and black ones, 50 to 100. I can't.
Memories.
We don't remember. But the purple and blue, this many. I honestly cannot tell you. And this will probably be one of the rarest ones.
Oh yeah.
I see go first. It's like
no.
I got something up my sleeve. So now I'm taking my shirt off. So I kind of did this purple and one. I did it for me. So there you go.
Talk to me about.
And I was at this show.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. Pretty sure I was at this show. Might have been. Well, the all the photos from Raji's on the back of on the back of one of the Nirvana EPs. Kurt sprawled across the drums.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was at Raji's in LA. They were on tour with Tad. So both bands left on tour.
Damn,
they played Portland. I had given Nirvana a stack of 100 of those posters of the orange, chrome yellow. They left them in a booth at the Satyricon. Oh, we left the posters in the Portland. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to print some more and I'll just drive to LA. And I was getting ready to go, and Charles was my roommate. Dude, let's go to LA. I don't know, man. Let's go to LA. Get in the van. So
glad you did.
Glad he did. He got those photos.
Crazy.
And stuff like that. So.
Good, Jeff. We're going to take things a little bit elementary for some of the folks that don't really know, and that should know. Okay. A lot of people don't know what a test print is. And you, being the man behind some of these incredible test prints, I think that it'd be worth kind of explaining what the hell is going on here.
Okay.
And then kind of going into like how it came to be like this.
Okay.
So let's talk about this one.
So test prints. Basically, test prints start as a botched print. So you got t-shirts, you print it, it smears, the registration's off, you pull the shirt, send it down the dryer, throw it in a box under the dryer. Test print on that instead of ruining a new shirt the next time you set up a design. So they were basically rags. So you pull them out, you find a spot. Okay, there's little
open space.
Print.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, fucked up. Okay, it's good. Start printing on new shirts. So test prints are ones that over and over until you don't have an open space to print on. You know, so like this is my design.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, back then, logo bonking was what we called logo bonking.
Yeah, explain logo bonking.
Logo bonking. This is a cat diesel power.
When you say
logo.
this, if you could hold it.
Well, cat is like Tad.
Yeah.
And Tad's like a bulldozer. Da-da. So you would take a known logo and you'd tweak it for
fans' purposes.
Humor purposes. Yeah. You know, I mean, the best logo bonking was Grateful Dead tour.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Sure.
Dead X, when you absolutely positively have to be there every night. You know, you take the logo, you take the slogan, you tweak it. And in the snowboard industry, it was rampant. I mean, huge, but no one got in trouble.
Can't pull it off as easily now.
Oh, no. No. Can't pull it off at all. I probably could. Because, you know, but then again,
we get
why?
We get cease and desist. This is a side note.
I mean, well,
we get cease and desist sometimes.
Cease and desist
from like posting teas.
My first cease and desist
from who?
New Improved God.
From it must have been from like Sony or whoever owns
from Disney, because it was Mickey Mouse.
Oh, from the Mickey Mouse.
Well, they got the cease and desist.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah.
So we printed the shirts, and they got a letter from Disney. Stop using the image of Mickey.
And what was Mickey doing?
He was being crucified. So
it's an iconic fucking shirt.
Yeah, you know. I mean, there was the big one, the big whammy of cease and desist was Tad for 8-Way Santa.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we did a Pepsi logo that said Tad, and the song Jack Pepsi is all about drinking your monster truck and falling in the lake. Pepsi didn't like that. You know, I mean, that at that time that happened. I mean, I had an example of my father worked for Hawaiian Punch, you know, a little punchy guy. Well, the Cows put out a single, the punchy with a cigarette and a beer and stubble. I don't know how my dad wound up with the 45. He wound up with the single. I'm gonna do this, Dad. Don't, man. These guys, skateboard kids love them. They drink a lot of Hawaiian Punch. Oh, okay.
He took it? Okay.
He took it.
Yeah, nice.
You know, so.
And speaking of Hawaiian Punch, I want to show one more shirt.
Okay.
So let's talk about another test print that you got out here. And I think this one's pretty interesting. It's got some very unique imagery. I want you to talk about where you got that from, how it came about, and what makes this tee so crazy.
Well, these were 1980, 86, 87, 86, 87. I was struggling to pay rent in LA. My dad worked for Hawaiian Punch. And so he came up with this way that for me to print radio promo stuff that Hawaiian Punch was sponsoring. So I had the little punchy guy, and then we'd always have a different radio station logo. And then maybe some thing there. So that's how he kind of kept me fed, you know. Yeah. So originally this was a Hawaiian Punch promo shirts.
Jeff, could you hold it up for a sec?
So, so this was in the bins for a while. This was hanging around for a while. And then when I was setting up the original Sliver shirt, people always kind of make, this is the original one. The first one.
Yeah.
You know, the one that's the big full color one is from the single. From the 7-inch.
Really?
Yeah. And I think
there's
quick stab, that photograph might have been Michael Levine, but I don't know.
There's always issues from collectors regarding the different sizing on the two different slivers. There's been a couple different...
Oh, the black shirts with the full color?
No. I'm talking about this one.
This one never been, it's always been this size. Always.
This image?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always. Except the bootlegs.
There we go.
You know, a friend in Thailand sent me a link on a
buddy,
eBay thing, or I don't know, and it was a Sliver shirt, and I'm just like, how the hell did they do that? Oh, it was a buy one for $17.98. Came from Taiwan or whatever, and I'm looking at it, and the bottom does this. It's not square. It's not straight. It's like this. And I'm just like, wait a second. I had saved, a friend had sent me somebody trying to sell one on eBay. And I had a screenshot of it. And I open it up and the bottom does this. They were bootlegging the photo from eBay. But you can't, I have friends who are other printers and designers, and they'll go after those websites. They'll take it down 5 minutes later, they'll open it somewhere. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just sort of.
Could you, really quick, last thing on the shirt, could you tell us a little bit more for people that don't know about the model?
Oh, the model.
Yeah.
So the artwork, if you read it, it's in Spanish. So I knew Kurt was really into the Invisible Man models and all that, and I happen to have a Mexican Invisible Man Revel model. So this artwork, I literally lifted off the box. And I still have it. You know,
crazy.
So lifted off the box, the pink hand-cut rubylith, you know, that's why the edges aren't perfect, you know, so... and then the Nirvana, I got that off of the Bleach album. Copied it from the Mechanicals, and you kind of use and reuse and stuff. So it's like making band names. I mean, all the Fluid stuff where I lifted them off of something. A film box of this, and Mudhoney, I lifted my poster. It's like a vertical Mudhoney. I lifted the style off of a photograph in a early graffiti book. The letter style off of a train. I can do that. You know, hand cut it, you know, and stuff like that. So back then it was like find it, manipulate it, physically manipulate it, and use it. You know, so now my computer skills are. I'm more of like, I want to do shit by hands. Like I've got stacks of old Dover lettering books. No one will know what those are, but it's just like pages of fonts.
Fonts, yeah.
And you would Xerox them, cut them out, tape them up.
Wow.
Do that. I want to scan all those and vector them so I can use those, but only print them out and then cut them and paste them up by hand because I like it being perfectly wrong. Just micro, people like, well, the kerning is, I eyeball it. If I'm doing something in the computer, it's sort of like.
It's too mechanical.
Okay. And the next one. Okay. It's just, I don't,
There's a lack of process.
Even in the computer, I don't use the snap grids. Yeah. I see it, I eyeball it, and it's sort of like, that's how you do it. It's more human. So I'm printing this shit by hand anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, it's sort of, I like simple. Simple is the best. Like, I was doing stuff for SNFU and all that. We want 4-color front, 3-color sleeves, back. It's just like, those shirts back then, those shirts are going to cost you $10. Dude, that's so much money. I go, one color. Or my slogan for a long time was, I can print that t-shirt in one color or less. Was my... You know, it's just simple. And then for a while I called myself the merch pimp. You know, it's just like, dude, simple, done, get the people to the table, buy it, buy it, buy it. Not like, one, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. You know, so my advice to bands is like, let me do what I do, and you can eat at Denny's instead of McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know, back in the old days.
Still sounds like a good deal if you ask me.
Yeah, you know, so.
There's one last shirt.
But it's interesting how time goes. So I came to Japan, had COVID, those lost years. So I've been here a year. COVID was 4 or 5. I was in Japan 6 years ago. And I'm at a rock and roll bar called the Poor Cow. And hanging out. Guys were in bands, this and that. And I saw a band play. And then went talking to them. And the bass player was in this Japanese band called Super Snaz. And they had put out a record on Sub Pop. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I think I did t-shirts for you 30 years ago. You know, so, and we're talking and hanging out. And then I came back recently, and it was just like, or when I went back home, I actually literally found the film. It's like, oh shit, I did do a Super Snaz shirt. And then a friend had one and gave it to me. So here's the Super Snaz shirt that I did for them.
Gnarly. In
Seattle, 30 years ago, give or take. Never saw them, never listened to them, never met them until I came to Japan. And there's the shirt.
Crazy.
So, metallic black, metallic red, metallic blue. That was fancy back then.
Yeah.
That was super fancy. These metallic, they were so expensive too. God, it was horrible. But, and then did I do? The Sub Pop is in. The Sub Pop is in metallic black. Also. So yeah. So this shirt is 30 plus years old, and I touched it then, and I'm touching it now. It's sort of like going into my friend's vintage shops here in Japan.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I printed that.
Fun.
What? Yeah. I did that one. I touched that one. Touched that one. This one. This one. So the circle. The circle of life. So.
Jeff Ross, everyone.
Yeah.
The man behind some of your favorite tees, Jeff Ross. We appreciate you, my friend.
It took us a while.
It was only 5 years in the making.
It took us around the planet.
It took us to another country. But we did it.
So thanks for having me. I hope I didn't make a fool of myself, but we can do that later.
BIDSTITCH gang, no one makes a fool of themselves other than us with BIDSTITCH.
Yeah.
Jeff, you're looking good.
All right,
man.
cool. All right, thanks.
Thanks, guys.